One team goes the wrong way and a surprising U-turn. Good job, Donkey. This is the Amazing Race After Show on AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I couldn't think of a Greek song, so I just thought of something I could still dance to. Speaking of Greek music, we are in Greece on the Amazing Race After Show, episode 8. I really like this one. This is one of my favorites so far. It made me really, really nervous, and I was super into it.
And we are actually in Greece right now.
We are in Greece.
Yes, you guys, live from Greece.
Live from Greece.
Looks great, right?
Where the Olympics were invented. It was a really cool episode. Lots of history. You did not know this?
No.
A little bit of history for you. It was invented in 1896. That's when the first modern Olympics took place in Greece. And I thought this episode was so awesome that they got to go to that stadium and actually run at the first Olympic stadium. So lots of history in this episode. Lots of excitement.
Get to know who you are.
Welcome everybody. My name is Nataly Tavidian, and you can find me everywhere at Nataly Tavidian. Nataly with a Y.
Hi.
And my wonderful co-host.
What's up, you guys? How's it going? My name is Desola Balogun. You can find me everywhere at Desola_B. Once again, Dan is not here. He will be back soon. I have to let you guys know because some people are like, "Where's Dan? Where's Dan?" He's living life. You know, he's living life, but he's gonna come back.
He's on his own amazing journey right now.
Yes, exactly. He's on his own amazing race. You all make sure to get in those chats, please. And we're going to have a special guest call in, so you guys better stay tuned.
Yes, Redmond is calling in today, so we are very excited to hear from him. We're going to wait for him to call. Let's get started with this episode. So we're in Greece, and we start off with this nearly 100-mile trek that the teams have to drive, and there is a double U-turn at the end. Very, very surprising, by the way. Both the U-turns for me were surprising. There go Mike and Liz. Mike and Liz take a left. Everybody else goes right. So that was the first point of stress for me. That was pretty stressful.
Were you surprised?
That Mike and Liz went left? Mike was being very stubborn. I feel like Mike was being very stubborn. You wrote stubborn?
Yes, literally I wrote stubborn. I wrote Michael is so stubborn. Speed bump and a U-turn.
Yeah, I feel like they could have won this leg if they didn't make that left turn and stick to it for such a long time.
Yeah.
Three teams went right. They went left.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, I feel like Liz could have gotten further if she had a different partner. Mm-hmm. Because every time that they've kind of come in last, it's always been his fault.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's been Mike's fault.
Every time.
Really?
It is, because every time.
I haven't caught on to this trend.
Well, because it's always driving.
Okay.
And it's always like them arguing, and she's always right about some direction. And he says, "No, you're not." And then
she's sitting back there with the map.
But
so
every
you listen to your navigator.
Every single time, you don't remember when they every time when they did the one with the fireworks.
Yes.
They were arguing about that.
Yes.
She was right and he was wrong again. And then this time, every time they have a driving one, he kind of ruins it.
Yeah, and she was like,
even the other team said that.
Scott wants to U-turn Mike and Liz. That was surprising for me, considering that Mike helped their team. He helped Brooke with remember when they were making the ladle?
Yeah. Was that when he helped her?
Yeah.
When he was like...
Yeah, so many teams helped them.
I wasn't surprised at all that Scott did that, because Scott said it when he came on the show. He says, you have to you're making friends, but you're playing a game. So
they were playing.
Remember, he said he's very strategic with all of his friends and everything that he's making. So, and
a part of him probably knew if you gave them the U-turn, they also have the road bump because they finished last week on the to be continued leg. Mm-hmm. So
you don't think that you would have given them the U-turn?
I don't know if I could give anybody the U-turn.
Because you'd feel bad? I mean, they probably would have lost anyways.
But you got to look out for yourself. I get it. Yeah. I totally get it. But Liz was pissed about that choice. She was so angry. When the teams first get to the wedding in Greece, I love how Scott was looking for the clue, and Tara starts dancing with everybody and ask where the clue is. I thought that was so sweet. Tara dancing.
She's like, "Where's the clue? Where's the clue?" And then they got it.
And I feel like in this episode, Tara and Joey were so kind to all of the locals. I don't know if you noticed that, but when they handed the milk over and they grabbed the cheese, they gave the elderly lady a hug and a kiss on the cheek, which is
I did not notice
it's customary. Well, I've been to Greece and I've been to the Middle East, and it's customary to give 2 kisses on the cheek when you greet somebody. And Joey and Tara did that. I thought that was really cute.
Well, they're the team to beat right now.
Yeah.
Like for real, the team to beat. They keep coming in first place or just top place or whatever. 1, 2, 3, whatever. They're always up there, and they still manage to like not make anyone angry and kind of just do their own thing, which is really good. They're really good at that. They're kind of like who. They're kind of like I never forget their name because they don't talk. Logan. And he like
Lolo, Team Lolo.
Yeah, them.
I really like
What's the guy's name?
London.
London, that's his name?
London.
Yeah, he's...
London and Logan.
I thought she was... Oh, he's London.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't know. I feel like I was watching it and I kept thinking, who is this guy? Like
Team Lolo.
He's literally said like 5 words the entire show. Like the entire season.
Yeah, we don't,
Maybe
we
like
don't
10.
see a lot of them.
Never, ever.
Watch them win.
But that would be really cool though.
You
because
never know.
It's always fun when like they're not really underdogs, but the unnoticed people
This was
win.
their highest ranking.
Yeah, number 4.
Did you hear them say that? Yeah.
And she was so excited. She's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And the host was like, "Oh, it is." Like he doesn't even notice them.
Brooke, I heard some optimism in her voice this episode.
Really? What did she say?
We've been talking about how hashtag Team Scott and Brooke. Brooke's been a little bit. Very negative. And I mean, even Scott pointed out the pessimism every now and then, but I heard optimism in her voice and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. She stepped in poop twice.
That was her who said that?
Yes, she stepped in donkey poop and she goes, I stepped in poop. I hope, she said something like, yay, or this is good. It's good luck, right? The first time she said it's good luck. And then she was like, damn it, I stepped in poop again.
But that's good that she didn't let anything
overwhelm her. She made fun, yeah.
But it was because she didn't really have a challenge to overwhelm her.
Because all that stepping in poop.
I mean, all
frustrating.
Yeah, but all they had to do was the donkey, and then they had to do the military thing, which I didn't really like that one.
Who did that one? Brooke did that one.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. What did you think?
I agree.
I was like, you guys can come up with something more interesting.
We didn't have to keep seeing it again and again, but I liked seeing how some teams got it, or some people, because it's only one person does that. What's it called? The roadblock. Only one person does the roadblock. I like seeing how some people got it on the first try, and some people took a couple of tries. And it was interesting to see them learn this tradition.
Yeah,
the costumes look good.
It was, yeah, they were interesting. In the chats, we have Raphael talking right now, and John Davenport. John Davenport says, "Ha, Lolo always comes near the end, but I bet they'll come out of nowhere at the end."
Right?
Just like what you just said.
Right. You never know.
But I agree with that, just because the teams that don't like push anyone.
Ooh, hold on. Redmond sent the number is not working. Can we pull? Can I get the number to Redmond because he wants to call in?
Hey, Redmond. Great, thank you. And so what I was saying is I agree with that, because it seems like the teams that stay low key and don't push anyone's buttons, no one's after you at all. So you pretty much make, other than this time Team Fun, you turned them because they realized, oh, this team is killing it, and they still did a good job. So, and then and then Raphael says Mom and Dad could also win. They seem strong. No, they are strong. They don't seem strong.
Yeah,
they definitely are strong. I think
they're witty. They are very smart in the decisions they make. Oh yes, Redmond. Is that you?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Yes, I'm sorry the number didn't work. Thanks for calling in.
No, thank you for having me today.
I was about to get to, we were talking about the changing of the guard in Greece, and I was about to get to your comment about how adorable Mike is going to look at his...
Matt just the cutest?
Matt, sorry, yes, adorable. Hashtag adorable. I love that comment. Tell us about Greece. So much history in this episode. So this has been one of my favorite ones. And last week was your best leg.
Correct.
In Venice.
Last week we finally got our first, and this one we wanted to get another one, but Joey and Tara, I mean, they're just such great competition. Ended up being a almost neck and neck race after the excuse me. It was almost neck and neck at the roadblock, but once they took off a few minutes before, they got to, I'm sure they were probably there half an hour, 20 minutes before we were.
Oh,
we had gotten
the
lost.
time
We ended
frame?
up running 5 miles.
5
We got
miles.
really lost trying to get,
God.
just trying to find the entrance, because you could see where the pit stop was supposed to be. Nobody knew how to get into it. I think Joey and Tara found that out right away.
How long did it take you all to realize that they were the team to beat? Team Mom and Dad.
Are they the team
So
to
if
beat?
you watch interviews with Matt and I, we were always worried. Maybe since episode 3, I want to say early on, episode 3 or 4,
Okay.
we were already saying, I mean, they are going to be one of the toughest teams. We knew a lot about them. We knew that Joey had done, I might be getting the number wrong, but I want to say close to 20 marathons, Boston Marathon.
Oh, wow.
He didn't tell
And
us that.
No, he
he's
didn't.
just a beast. He's an awesome guy, and Tara is just phenomenal. And we
They
knew
both
that
are.
together they were just a very strong team. So we were worried about them pretty early on. I think it took some of the other teams a little bit longer.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
He's great at kind of hiding how good of a team they were.
So,
Right.
oh,
Go ahead.
okay. So I'm going back to the beginning of the season. So in the beginning of the season, you and your teammate, I would say you guys were a little more aggressive towards other teams, but now it seems like you guys are kind of just playing, just trying to lay low, like the other teams who are doing well. Would anything change from like the first episode till now? Because you guys were getting into it with a couple of the teams. Would you say it was those
Correct.
teams, or
You did not like me very much.
I did not? You remember that? I was like, it was that one episode. I was a little mad.
So it's funny. As funny as it sounds, I really do believe this, and we're all friends. We all talk. The U-turn drama, obviously, it was all my fault. None of that was Matt. Matt was quiet the whole time. But that was not a big, scary deal for us as racers. That was something, we yelled. I was talking trash. That's just how I am when I'm competing. It wasn't that big of a deal to us. Even with Ashton and Bank, we were laughing with them within hours when, we went and apologized to them and shook hands, and we were on good terms. We still knew they were going to U-turn us again, and in terms, we weren't friends in terms of the show, but we were nice with each other. We were helping each other
Cordial.
out on certain tasks. So that
But of
wasn't
course
as
they didn't
big of
show
a
that.
deal. I think how you see me now is honestly how most of the team saw us throughout the race. And I don't think I'm completely lying to say that. I think that's how most people are kind of saying, hey, they're not horrible people.
No,
They
I
seem like
I
they're
never
kinda
thought
having
you were
fun.
bad people. You,
Yeah,
Matt and
that's how-
Redmond, team the
that's-
boys.
We were
I've been
having
cheering
fun,
you on.
and we were giggling the whole time. We were a pretty happy team the entire time. We never had drama with each other, and the drama we did have,
That's true.
it was
Yeah.
settled pretty quickly.
That's true. I didn't even think about it that. But
I was
that,
about to ask that question. It's you and Matt, complete strangers, and you guys seem like best friends for life on the show. Seems like you became close pretty quickly, and I don't know if maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen any drama with you two. And I haven't seen any drama with Tara and Joey, but we have seen a lot of, by drama I mean bickering. We've seen bickering with
Correct.
almost all the other teams.
Of course.
But you have your game
Correct.
face on, and I feel like you
Go ahead.
two could read one another.
Craig, we never fought at all. At least at this point in the race, we had never fought with each other. The only drama we had was outside of that.
Mhm.
And I had the absolute best partner. There's nobody else I would have rather ran this race with.
That's good. And one thing I really like about your team is that in the beginning of the season, I kept complaining, saying that I felt like a lot of the teams did not have a good sense of urgency. Because it's like they're like, you hear them a lot. Oh, okay, let's just take our time. Like Mike said that a lot of times, and you see how that worked out for him. But you two were always like, they always were on it. You know what I mean? Like you two were not playing. Once you got it, you got it, and you would go. It didn't seem like you took a lot of time. I don't know how it really was, but from what we see, it seemed like you guys were always on it and knew why you were there. Because I feel like some of the people.
And I heard you mention that even when I think you and I are friends now. Even when you were really upset with me, you still gave me that credit. Matt and I that credit, and I do think that's true. I think once we got to the challenges, we generally did really well on them. We kind of had the same issue with Mike and Liz in terms of it would take us a while to get to the challenges some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at any of the U-turns in Greece?
In Greece?
Team Mom and Dad, U-turn Team Fun. I thought that was kind of a surprising...
Correct. They just wanted to... Everything they said on the show and on the behind the scenes, if you watch the YouTube videos, is true. They were just trying to help out their friends, and they knew that they were the only other team in the back. So it wasn't... A lot of people are confused why they would U-turn such a strong team, but it was because it didn't matter. If they U-turned any of us right there, it wouldn't have made any difference. So actually we were ahead of them, I think, by a couple seconds. So that was the one team they could have. And I mean, I think it was a good decision if they were trying to keep their friends in. We were actually part of the fun drama, and Scott is one of my favorite people on the planet. But
Scott's so much fun.
And Brooke were actually planning on U-turning us. At least that was the word we had got, that they were trying to U-turn us.
Okay.
And, not out of drama, just because, we're all playing the game.
Uh-huh.
And we were, if you watch the video again, or go back and watch the show, you can see the just fear in my eyes when I hear them saying, "Okay, I'm so sorry," and they're going to, they're talking about they're going to U-turn somebody.
Because it was about
Matt and I
3
just jump on the
teams.
board, and maybe half a second before they finish, we yell out, we choose not to U-turn anybody. As long as we say that before they finish putting the name on the board, we were told that would mean we were ahead of them, even though they got there first. So we were, you could really see that I was pretty afraid. I thought I was getting U-turned again.
See, well, at least you know how Scott plays the game, though, and it seems like he lets it be known, like, yeah, we're friends, but you know that he might U-turn you, but that's what you should do. Yeah. That's why when people get so angry, I'm like, oh, come on, like, it's a game.
And
Scott's good at the social game.
What is funny is, everybody had said, look, we all know we're here to win the game, so let's not try and hate each other. But Scott, I know, was one of the ones that was saying, oh, I'll U-turn anybody. Like, I don't care, because I could love you. You could be my best friend. I'll U-turn you. And so I know if I would have been U-turned there, Matt and I would have just, called him a jerk, and I think we wouldn't have been as angry as we were the first time. The first one was more of an emotional thing. We would have known Scott and Brooke just wanted to win.
How great the Team Fun take it, though. They were just like, oh, okay, we're U-turned, and they just kept going. Like, they didn't even, like, blink. I was like, wow.
They did that so well. They took it the same way that Seth and Olive had taken it. They took it with grace, unlike me. They took it with grace.
It's okay.
They took it very well. Actually, every other team that's been U-turned did that. I know Mike and Liz were angry when they got U-turned, but Ashton and Vank, when you watch them getting U-turned, they took it so well, and I think everybody, even people that didn't like that team, ended up loving them after they got U-turned because of how they took that. I think it was the same thing with Becca and Floyd. They ended up making it, but even if they wouldn't have, they had taken that really well.
You learn a lot about someone when you're under pressure, huh?
Correct.
A lot about the stress and the pressure. Speaking of the behind the scenes stuff, what was that? I've been on that boat ride to Greece. The big boat you took for, what was it, like 15 hours? What was the bonding like? Tell us about like that downtime. What's the bonding like with all the other teams? Because it looks like you guys actually have fun behind the scenes.
Right. We'd had a few smaller bond times that I think we really understood, and we really found out about people's family, the reasons that they were on the show earlier on. So at this point, we had already known each other. I know the biggest memory I have on this 15-hour boat ride is Logan, Becca, and I went out to the back of the boat, and we talked about science and astrology for maybe 2 hours straight. And it was one of the coolest conversations we had. We talked about just everything because none of us could sleep because we were on such we had so much energy at that point. And we just talked about I mean, everything under the sun. We just completely nerded out, and we ended up becoming really good friends.
Those are the best moments. Those are really great moments when you're like, okay, you're traveling for a minute, you're taking the entire experience in, huh?
Correct. And it's those moments that there's no reason it should ever be on TV, because it's incredibly boring for anybody else looking at it. You want to see the action. But
but you'll remember those moments.
Correct. And they're not necessarily secret. I just, told you guys this is something I remember. But those are those moments that you get to kind of keep for yourself.
Why did you choose to go on the show?
I've said it multiple times. I wanted to shock the world. So they've had some amazing people on the show. It's been 29 seasons. 28 before us. They've had amazing people. But I wanted to show up, and my biggest goal that I told my girlfriend, I told my friends, my family, is I want to be a team that everybody says, gosh, that guy is so strong, and have half the people either not know or forget that I'm an amputee. And looking at the Facebook comments, I think a lot of the people did not even realize. I saw a comment saying, why does Redmond have a foot on his backpack? They had no idea I was an amputee, just because half of the episodes I was wearing jeans when it wasn't too hot, and I wanted to just go shock the world and be a strong team, and not be a team that people said, oh, well, I feel bad for them because he's missing a leg, and I know Matt's been injured 30 times in his job. I didn't want to be strong in spite of something. I just wanted to be a powerhouse team, and I think we kind of did that. I think.
I think you
a lot of people
totally
just
did
forget
that.
He's been injured 20 or 30 times. He's been injured way more than I have. And
on the show.
I obviously have that one injury, and I think most people forget about that.
I was going to say
exactly what my goal was.
You 100%.
That and to win.
Yeah, well, of course, right? You 100% accomplished that, because I think about that when I watch the show. Sometimes I don't even realize it until you make jokes about it, and I love that you also can make a lot of jokes about it, which makes it more fun for other people too. Because sometimes when like some people don't know if they can say certain things or whatnot, but you always make jokes about it, and I think it makes the show fun, because I really don't think about it until you make a joke. I'm like, oh yeah, and it was my so it's cool. I really like that.
That's right. We do forget about it.
I do all the time.
You guys are the team to look out for, because you're the team to look out for. I think I've been saying that.
You've been saying that from the beginning.
I've been saying that from episode 1. I think in my predictions I said Team Fun and Matt and Redmond. There was one other one.
That really makes me happy.
And you said Team Mom
Steph
and
Olive.
said that
I know
too.
one of the powerhouse teams that people were worried about.
That's right. Team America, right? Yes. # Team America.
Correct.
Seth and Olive.
And then, it was kind of a shock to the world when they went out. They were a really strong team, and they had no drama with really any teams that
I believe that was
when they came out, it was nothing but they had all the praise, and we all wish we could have raced with them more, but at the same time, when they went out, everybody was happy, just because we knew they were a scary team. They were an intimidating team.
Yeah.
So Rafael Navarez at home in the chats, he wants to know. I think he wrote Vanek, but I'm pretty sure he means Vank. They want to know if you missed Vank and Ashton when they left.
So what I think is hilarious is, again, we were watching these episodes together. I love Vank and Ashton. I haven't actually hung out with Vank since, but that's just because he's in New York City. But I've hung out with Ashton a few times since. And I mean, we're great friends. And even during, I think it was Norway, when we got to camp, everybody was just, that was one of the best memories I have from the entire race, is just being able to camp with this Viking right there in Norway. Everybody was just having fun, drinking some traditional alcohol from there, and eating together, and just having a campfire. And we, Vank and Ashton, that team, and Matt and myself, we became really good friends there. And so a lot of people think I was the guy that was going out of my way to try and get them eliminated. We, as Joey and Tara, I think, are some of the best people in the entire show. They're just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point where we were saying, well, let's not U-turn Bank and Ashton. I want to U-turn Joey and Tara. And, I mean, my heart broke when I had to tell him, you know, a few months ago, hey, you might hear me saying that I was plotting to U-turn you at one point.
That's
because
right.
I love them, but they were such a strong team that we were not trying to play emotionally at all. And so it was actually, I could be missing another team, but I know Matt, myself, and Scott were really saying, let's not play the game just based off emotions. Let's U-turn the strongest team, and we think the strongest team is Joey and Tara. And we are actually the ones that kind of got overrun when everybody was kind of more on board with everybody just wanted to be on the same page, because nobody wanted to get eliminated, and that was the way that it ended up happening, was to target them. Mm-hmm. And of course, when that happened, we weren't going to go against it. We were all on board, but we were actually pushing to U-turn who we thought was the strongest team. And I'm not saying Bank and Ashton were not a strong team; they actually were, but we were not the ones spearheading that.
You can tell he's friends with her. So
I think it was because of all the complaining that it made it they didn't look as strong as they were.
Yeah.
But then they surprised me every
when
time.
you looked at right before they left, their stats, I think they were the 4th highest team or the 3rd highest team statistically.
Yeah, I think they were just complaining really the whole time, but they surprised us every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I forgot my question. I had a question ready and I forgot. What was I going to say? Oh, okay.
And I'll just say one thing. So when we were in, I know there's behind the scenes stuff of me, and you could tell I'm frustrated. It was right after, it was either episode 3 or 4.
He's like, I want to clear this up.
Right after I got U-turned, and I'm saying, let's U-turn. I think we'd said we're going to U-turn Joey and Ashton together. And I was saying, I want Ashton out because she's making this race not fun for me. That was when I was still a little butthurt. Than I was possibly, but then that ended up changing because we realized we should lock out that U-turn board if we have a double, so we can turn that into a single, and then everything else that I just said happened.
I love when everyone comes on the shows and they always want to clear up their name. They're like, look, just so you know, I'm really a nice person, and I mean, and the thing is, I really believe
no,
it.
I wasn't a nice person. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say the little facts that
we add some context to this.
Everything you saw, I'm the first to say they edited me perfectly. I was an a-hole. I was a little jerk.
But I mean, it's a stressful process, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was,
you have to play the game. This is a race.
Yeah.
There's money on the line.
The blood pressure, everyone's blood pressure must have gone up on
My
this show.
blood pressure goes up watching this.
Because
I can't imagine what they're going
through. We
through.
also wanted to make it so nobody would want to U-turn us again.
Yeah, right?
You don't want to U-turn the team that's going to blow up. And,
Do you want to hear me hold a grudge? Do teams hold grudges?
Yeah, Mike and Liz. What do you mean?
Liz was pissed.
No, Mike is the one. What do you
there's
mean?
something there.
No, Liz was pissed.
Yeah,
Liz
but
was very, very angry. Mike was too. They were
Mike
both
was
very
always
angry.
okay. What do you think is?
This was not there, and then they had to go up twice for the goat. How did? I don't know how that happened. You didn't. How did they get to the top and forget the second goat?
Redmond, well, what do you think was their biggest demise? Because you don't have to say it if you don't want, but we all could see that Mike was a very hard teammate to deal with. He was very stubborn. He had an attitude problem all the time with Liz. I mean, he had an issue with being wrong, right? So what do you think was the biggest issue with that, and why do you think they went home since you were actually there?
Well, I do have to say, I've watched this. So many of the racers have watched this together, and at least half of the people I've been with, I know we've said the same thing, where we didn't see that side of Mike at all. When we would see Mike, it was nothing but happiness. Mike and Liz were one of the teams that were so happy and jolly that was actually one of the things that I had no idea that there was any of that drama.
Because you're not in the car with them.
And
yeah.
Correct. So they kept that to the side. And if you look, they don't really do any of the drama in front of other teams. So it was actually, I had no idea that was going on to us. They were a super jolly team. And really, he just gets frustrated. It's not like he's saying anything horrible. He's just getting frustrated, like I got frustrated.
I'm sorry, we're
He
laughing.
goes nearly as far as I did.
We're laughing
I want to say
because
their biggest. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, I was going to say real quick, we're laughing because Nataly made a face when you said they don't do it in front of other teams because there's many instances where Mike rants to other teams, so maybe he didn't do it to you guys because he would rant to other teams all the time when he's pissed off at someone else. And
yeah, never mind. You are correct.
Yeah.
So we just, I know I did a recap a couple weeks ago, and I said I loved Mike when we were on the show, Mike and Liz, but I didn't really know them that well. He was either so far ahead of us because those, episode 2 and 3, they were all the way in the pack, or we were on a different boat, or we were doing something where we just didn't have that much time to talk. So you are correct. I guess he did have drama, or he was openly talking about stuff to other teams, but I don't remember ever hearing that.
Oh, okay.
I think what brought them down is just, this is, it can make me sound conceited, but it is true. I think with having 22 strangers, they picked very fit people, and it's kind of an outlier season with that, because part of the reason why I personally love watching the show is there's people that are in every people that are super fit, people that don't work out ever, people that aren't runners, and you have huge variables with everybody. And this season, everybody was pretty even. Everybody was pretty fit, pretty athletic. And so even though Mike is an absolute beast, I mean, when he has to run up against Becca and Floyd, Mike is going to be the slower person.
That's fair.
And I think maybe he wouldn't have stood out on another season, but I mean, Becca is fast, and really fast. Becca and Floyd were both fast. So it's just, when you get to that, they're neck and neck. It was just a physical point at that, to me, is what I think.
They are.
I didn't even think about that, actually. Well, until I saw them running up the stairs with the goats.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, they were they weren't winded as much
for the
as
goats. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about the stadium? I think that's such an incredible experience. What was that
awesome.
feeling
and
like? I can't imagine
for
that.
me, so it was the first. A lot of people are saying it's the first Olympic stadium. It's the actual verbiage is the first modern Olympics.
Yeah.
I think that stadium was built in
1896.
Late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And so it was just such a awesome experience. And then for me, it is, I competed in track. Track's a humongous part of my life. I competed there for just under 4 years. And so for me to be able to do that is just like a basketball player being able to play, or a stand-up comedian be able to go to the was it Rose Garden? I'm trying to make good metaphors. I don't even know the name.
No, but that's just, I can't, just being there.
Playing the biggest stadium, go to the Rose Bowl. I mean, to me, that's what it was. It was just this, mind-blowing experience. It was so cool. And then it made it even better because Matt was trying to take me out, threw the bag at me, and made me trip.
Did he make you trip? Is that what happened?
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Oh.
Why would he do that on purpose?
His own teammate, right?
Matt.
No, he just
with
got
the
really
adorable
excited,
outfits.
We both, whenever we get to a challenge, we would get so excited and just we would dance for joy when we'd get to challenges like that. And so, we were so excited. We just wanted to sprint as fast as possible.
Matt looks like he has a lot of fun.
The only sad part is when you get to challenges like that, you're running. We only got to spend maybe a minute in that stadium. Well, I think I'm saying I'm faster than I actually am. Whatever it was for us to run around.
I don't want to sound conceited, but we were out of there in a minute.
We were immediately out. So we read the clue, ran the track, got in our taxi, and ran away. Or I think we didn't get in a taxi. I think we just ran out of there.
So you had no time to take it
We
in.
actually, as a viewer, everybody that's watching the show, you get to see the stadium more than we did. And that's something everybody told us, the staff told us, do not get tunnel visioned. Like, just don't completely think about you have to win. Like, every once in a while, just stop and look around. And every team, I think, was very good at that, but you still miss it. And I know that was one of the experiences that I barely remember what it looked like. And so generally we were pretty good at, taking in the surroundings, but I know we were just so excited. I was so amped. I knew we were pretty close to the front that I forgot what it looked like until we watched it on the show.
Well, that's fair. I was going to ask, it's funny that you brought it up. I was going to say, I would think that you don't even really realize a lot of the stuff until after, like when the day's over. And then do you ever then is that when you realize, you reflect and say, oh my God, we just did this today, or I'm in this country today?
Correct. There's a lot of time. Well, you have a lot of downtime before, and so you get really pumped about where you're going to go, and then you have a lot of downtime afterwards, on either plane or boat, and that's when you either sit there and you think about all the cool things you just did, or if you're going to a certain country, if you know kind of landmarks or what the country's known for, you're just psyching yourself out in the best of ways, saying, I hope we do this, or I wonder what cool adventures we're going to do. And everybody is friends when you're on an airplane or on the boat. So we're all sitting around talking and saying, do you know what this place is known for? Oh man, I wonder, do you remember we were in Brazil? You remember the one time they did a helicopter ride in Brazil? Maybe we're going to be able to do that. And everybody's just so happy and having fun with it. But when you're actually doing the physical challenges, a lot of the times, it's hard to try and take everything in while you're also trying to win.
I was going to say, I would be like, I don't even care, because when I win the money, I can come back.
Exactly.
Like, bye. It's
and
okay.
The other thing that a lot of, that I never realized until I actually, it should have been common sense to me, but it wasn't. I didn't realize that every single time you get to a challenge, you're watching it, and you see Phil explain why we're, or the history, the significance of where we're going. You only get that description every once in a while. Sometimes it's on the clue because it's important, but I'm going to say about half the time they won't give you the significance because maybe it'll give you a leg up or something. I swear it's not. I'm not trying to do amputee jokes, but it might give you a leg up on the competition. So you don't want to. Sometimes there's certain things like that we didn't know the historical significance of where we're going, and then when we get to watch it with everybody else, we actually learn with everybody else.
Or are you talking about cool. What Phil gives the viewers?
Correct.
Okay.
Like
so when every single time you get to a certain place, Phil gives this description, we don't get that. And so some of the times you have these experiences that it's just fun. It just seems like a physical task. And even little things like the boxing gym in Brazil, they end up telling you who was there and why, that they have these down every street corner. And I mean, it's just all these cool little tidbits that we don't hear while we're on the race.
So John Davenport at home wants to know, how was the casting process since this season was individuals instead of teams? And why did you decide to apply for this season instead of a partner season?
Good question.
So this is where it gets a little, John was his name?
John Davenport.
All right. Well, but great question, John. We can't talk too much about the casting process because it's supposed to be awesome and mysterious. And it is awesome and mysterious. But what I could say is differences between this season and really every other season that they've done. And why you chose to apply as a single. And I chose it because I just felt that being, as much as they're trying their best not to do stereotypes, they want big stereotypes, they want characters, they want people that are going to stand out. And being who I am, being a veteran amputee and somebody that runs track, I kept going through my mind all the time of who am I going to partner with to make this interesting, and I could not think of this perfect pair that I would be able to sell it really well to CBS. I thought when I found out it's an individual season, I just thought, well, this is my chance to stand out because I feel like they want me. If they know who I am, they might want me. And if it was a couple season, it would be me and my girlfriend, or me and one of my track buddies, or me. I felt like I didn't have as good of a duo as some of the other. There's 30,000 people that are applying, and I just didn't think I was going to stick out as much as a duo. So when I heard that it was going to be individual, I just really felt it was my chance to apply and go for it.
I think they did a great job pairing everybody up. I think all the teams are very interesting. And they just work. And
correct. I mean, everybody, you forget that we did it on the show, and you do it when you're watching. You forget that we didn't know each other for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did a great job.
would
Do
be
you think
so
it's
hard.
less stress, though, to be with someone who was a complete stranger a few weeks ago, or do you think it'd be more stressful to have someone rely on you that you know?
It's a fantastic question because we kept asking ourselves, and people have asked us a lot. And I think it depends on who you are. For me, it would have been much more stressful to go with somebody I know because you'd be racing. And I think it kind of is why the blind date season, the three final teams were strangers. I think it's because when you're not worried about also trying to maintain that long-term relationship and also trying to make sure you're being nice to your partner because you guys have known each other for a long time. I think that's one thing we don't have to worry about, and I think that's an advantage that we have. And so for me, I love that I can go out with a stranger, not worry about if I wouldn't have gotten Matt, if I would have gotten somebody I would have butted heads with, it would have been 30 days, less than 30 days that we would have had to work together, and we would have gone as hard as possible, and then we could hate each other after that. And every other season they don't have that. You have to. Some people will completely say, well, you get big drama, or they'll bring drama that they've been carrying with them.
Yeah.
But for me, I love the layout of this season, and I think it made it that people were just not worried about drama as much.
We're liking it too. I was very curious and a little worried about how it would go, but I'm loving it. I'm really loving it.
I am not paid by CBS to say this. I am incredibly impressed, and when you go online, I am very impressed with how they did the partner pairing. Everybody was scared when we were applying. That was your biggest worry is I don't know who they're going to pair me up with, and are they going to go with this huge gimmicky, polar opposites? Well, what are they going to do? And I was certain that they were going to pair us up automatically. I thought they knew who they were going to pair us up with, and the way they did it, I thought was such a cool way to pair us up. You earned the right to choose your partner, and I mean, I couldn't have thought of a better way to do it.
Just some flags.
I like it.
So has this given you the has this made you want to do any other show? Since do you have like the knack for TV now? You're like, oh man, I want to do more, or what?
So
Or just the travel bug.
So what's funny is I had done a show before. I was on this show called Triumph Games, and it was actually on CBS, and I actually won it. And it was a big grand prize, and it was a huge deal. It was a great event, and Triumph Games is an amazing show, but nobody watched the show. It was so
How long ago was that?
unknown.
2016.
And I love it. And if you get a chance, go. You can watch it for free online now.
I'm taking notes. I'm going to look into
Triumph
that.
Games. And I was so proud. And I thought that was, one of the things that's going to almost help me get on The Amazing Race. And they had asked me at Amazing Race, have you done any other, when I was talking to CBS, have you done any other shows? And I said, yeah, I did Triumph Games. What's that?
Oh, what?
It's the show on your network. And I won.
Just didn't last long, huh?
They had no idea what it was.
Wow.
So, it's not as big of a show as this.
That's crazy.
But
I'm looking at it right now.
Dancing with the Stars.
You said what?
I think Dancing with the Stars would be a good one.
Oh my goodness, that would be
so
awesome.
cool.
I could totally see you on that. And then we can bring you on that after show.
I promise I would be nice the whole time.
You have to. How can you be mean?
Dancing with, and I feel like a lot of opportunities come out of Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Like there's some people on there who you're like, who are that? And then afterwards you see them like doing all this other stuff. So hey, get on that show if you can.
Do it. We could totally see it.
Honestly, it's I got the dream show. There's no other show I wanted to be on more than The Amazing Race. It's a show. The people that watch it, the people that are super fans, the people that love that show. We all know why we love that show. I don't have to spend another 10 minutes explaining
It's
it. We
incredible.
all know why. And so I got on my dream show. And so anything else from here is just the next thing I'm doing, and I'll be incredibly excited about. But I already got the thing I've wanted to do more than anything.
So everything else is just the icing on the cake if you get more.
Everything else is amazing icing on the cake. This is what I wanted to do,
You heard that
and
plug?
it lived up to my expectations.
Well, that is
Amazing.
well, we're glad that you really enjoyed your time on the show. I'm really excited to see what happens. I know you can't tell us who wins, so hopefully, I mean, you know, hopefully you win, but we'll see.
Yes, and we hope that you call again. Thanks so much for
you so
calling,
much.
filling in. Redmond, is there anything we should have asked you? Anything more that you'd like to add? We're going to keep following you and see where all this goes. We're super pumped.
I do just want to say,
the boys.
I know I had already said it, but just to touch up, the race is for everybody that wants to apply. I know they just said they're doing season 30 now. If it's your dream, go for it. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that it is everything you want it to be. It was an amazing experience. The staff is fantastic. It's like no other show. And when you're in the water in Africa and, you know, trying to get into the boat before the other teams, and the back of your head, you're thinking, like, why am I doing this? You look and you'll see the producer of the show, Bertrand Van Munster, right there with a big smile on his face. The staff is so excited. They're so involved. And everybody is just having the time of their lives. And so if it's a dream you wanted to do, apply for it. The absolute worst thing that can happen is they won't contact you, or they'll say no. So
exactly.
Go for it.
And then you put your own amazing race together and go travel the world.
There you go.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for calling in, Redmond.
You.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you. You too. And we're friends now, okay? Just so you know. We were friends before,
Nice.
but now we're really
that
friends.
That was my entire goal of calling.
Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye, Redmond. So awesome
That was
having
fun.
him.
That was great.
Yes, we get so much insight every time we have a team, an amazing race person here or call in and learn so much.
And hopefully we have
about
some
all
more
the
people
behind the
coming
scenes.
and maybe some people returning, hopefully. So you guys need to tune in for that. Keep looking out for that.
Yeah, let's do. So Mike and Liz are gone, and let's do a quick
prediction.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions, though.
predictions.
They're always so on point with the predictions buttons. I feel like they're like waiting for it. Like, boom, predictions.
Yeah.
It's always on point. All right.
We didn't finish talking about Mike and Liz, but they just had a bad.
I mean, we did. We talked about it with him. I mean, they're just.
Yeah.
It's
was
Mike's
a bad
fault,
day.
but it's
it was
fine.
a bad day for them, so they're gone, and we have 5 teams left.
Oh, just about to. How many more episodes? I wonder.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams. Tara and Joey, Matt and Redmond.
All right. Well, who's going home next week?
Oh no, I don't know. I love them all. I think this top 5 was probably what I've been predicting most of this time.
Can you name them all real quick if you don't mind?
Number 1 was Team Mom and Dad.
Okay.
Tara and Joey. Number 2 were Matt and Redmond. And we just heard 20 minutes apart-ish. And then came Brooke and Scott. And then Team Lolo. And then Team Fun.
You don't know who's gonna win. You never know.
No.
But for whatever reason, I feel like. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say I feel like Team Scott and Brooke are gonna win for whatever reason.
You think so?
I don't know. I kind of feel it a little bit, but you never. I can't. Like, I imagine if they do get eliminated, it's gonna be very sad and emotional, and Scott's probably gonna cry. If they do get eliminated, he's definitely gonna cry. Actually,
I'm probably gonna cry. I love watching them.
But for whatever reason, I feel like they might win.
Yeah.
Like just something. I don't know. I feel like they might win. Or Team Lolo, who don't speak ever, they might come out of nowhere and just win the show. Team. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But the first 2, Tara and Joey, Matt and Redmond, I feel like they're gonna keep being neck and neck. Mm-hmm. I say they stay neck and neck next week.
I believe it.
That is my prediction.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And that's a wrap.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you get in those chats, please, and let us know who you think is going to win the show and who you think is going home next week. I'm Desola Balogun. You can follow me everywhere at Desola_B.
And I'm Nataly Tavidian. You can find me everywhere at Nataly Tavidian. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next Monday.
And thank you again, Redmond, for calling in. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.